one of the proponents, Sexuality Merdeka, stressed that it is the right of the community to practice their ways of life according to their own ways. This intellectual forum is held to create awareness among students that they should take part in national issues as it is in line with this university mission and Islamic teachings. It is also to expose students on the current issue and to invite discussion and later find out the solution to these existing problems facing by our country with regards to morality. Without further ado, I would like to invite Brother Farizul as moderator to begin our session today. Please be welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Chairperson. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin. Imamil muttaqin wa ala alihi wa ahli baiti wa sahbihi ajma'in. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Rabbana shrah lana sudurana wa yassir lana umurana wa hlul 'uqdatam min alsinatina yafqahu aqwalana. Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to every one of you again. So tonight I've been entrusted to be the moderator of tonight's forum, discussing one of the most controversial, disputable, sensitive, interesting, and to some it is disgusting, perhaps, topic. And with us tonight is Dr. Syam Rahayu Abdul Aziz, our own Dr. Syam Rahayu, or mostly known as Kak Syam, right, from UIM, and then Mr. Lim Chiwi, the President of the Malaysian Bar, and we also have our Dr. Farooq Musa, the Chairman of the Islamic Renaissance Front. Please welcome all the panelists. So ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, to begin with, I would begin with the format of the forum. I will explain the format of the forum. We're going to have 3 sessions. The first session is a warm-up session. I'm gonna ask the same question to each and every panelist, simple question, and then we're gonna move on to the second round, which is the substance of the discussion. And then before we move on to the third round, we will have Q&A session. So please be reminded that during the Q&A sessions, since we are in our own beloved, lovely moot court, we always uphold academic discussion. So whatever question that you intend to ask, make sure that it is within the fraternity of intellectual forum and discussion. Alright? So no confrontation or any unscrupulous question. And if you intend to ask any, and if you ask any kind of that question, I will straight away scrap those questions. Agree? Okay? Don't agree? Okay, let us see how it goes, right? Okay, the first question to each and every panelist. Since now we are discussing, the topic of the discussion is homosexuality, whether it is a crime or it is a right. So, to each and every of you, how do you actually view this topic? What is your opinion about this topic? Randomly, please, you start with Dr. Farooq.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. And actually, let me begin by stating that I think the debate today, or the forum today, is basically a continuation of a debate I had with Dr. Syam Rahayu and Shazwan and a few other law lecturers in IIM with regard to state intervention in personal matters and whether state has the right to intervene in personal morality or not. So the whole idea begins with it started probably when, as we all know, that Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, he was tried under Penal Code 377B, and which carried maximum, which basically says that having a carnal intercourse against the order of nature and he carries a maximum sentence of 20 years of imprisonment. And because of that, when he was acquitted, he called for probably a review of that penal code. And I guess there are many so-called Islamists and many quarters in Malaysia who view that probably that this penal code has some semblance of Islamic law, or they call it Islamic law. The issue is that based on research being done before, it was noted that since 1938, there were basically 7 cases that were tried under 377. And out of these 7 cases, 4 were related to Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim. What does that imply? It implies to me, as a layperson who was not trained in law, that 377 has been used as a state apparatus to persecute a political opponent. And there's nothing more than that. And whether that 377 is actually relevant in the 21st century is another matter. It was in the 1800s when it was first introduced. It was an archaic law that was introduced in the 1800s by the, it was a Victorian law, a very archaic law, and introduced by the British. And I think you have 377 in India, in Singapore and Malaysia as well. And Singapore modified 377 in the year 2007, if I'm not mistaken. And if you have to read 377A and 377B, it means that it involves consensual sex between adults. It did not really discriminate whether the consensual sex is between male and female or of the same sex. It means that what is carnal intercourse against the order of nature means oral sex and anal sex. Now let me be clear, we are all adults here, so I don't think there's a taboo to say oral sex or anal sex. In the 21st century, are we saying that consenting adults, husband and wife, has no right to involve in oral sex, for example? And is still under 377. So that's the whole issue. And can a state intervene in this private life of individuals? It's different from when it's a crime. You know, when you're committing something against, so it falls under 377C, right? But we're talking about 377A and B. So it's very important for us to have a clear demarcation where a state can intervene in personal matters. That's the most important thing. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Dr. So basically you're saying that there should be a demarcation whether the state can intervene into this matter or not. Okay, thank you, interesting. Dr. Syam Rahayu, Kak Syam, can I just call you Kak Syam? Do I have to actually officially?
Yeah, please don't call me auntie.
Okay. So Kak Syam, what is your opinion? It is a right or a crime? Please.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you to Brother Fuad, the Law Society President. Thank you, Mr. Farzul. Actually, giving me the opportunity to speak on homosexuality is something embarrassing me because I'm a woman. I'm a lady. And sitting in between men. Somehow this is my right of freedom of expression. I have to say that it's not involved a woman in terms of what I call literal interpretation of what homosexuality is. As a Muslim, I would say it's sinful. And as a law lecturer, I would say it's a ta'zir, or it can be an Islamic law lecturer, Islamic criminal law lecturer. I would say it can be a ta'zir offense, or it can be one of the hudud offense according to the juristic views. And I don't support liberal freedom. I think probably my students know my stand. And I've expressed this view that no one will have the rights of homosexuality, and I prefer the homosexuality is a sin as well as crime. Thank you.
Thank you. Short and concise. Please, your view on this.
I will address Dr. Sham as Miss instead of a doctor or professor or Kak. Certainly not auntie. Let's break down the question: homosexuality a crime, a right or crime? I want to focus. We all understand crime, but let's talk about right. Certainly, at its lowest common denominator, a right not to be persecuted, a right not to be humiliated, a right not to be discriminated against. And I think that is at its lowest common denominator. What I intend to do today is really, through the 3 rounds that the moderator suggested, is actually share with you later a comparative jurisdiction development of what other countries, how they deal with it, either as a matter of legislation or as a matter of common law. And I asked members of the audience, you don't have to raise your hands, but just think of 2 questions to ask yourself at a personal level. 1, whether you know of any loved ones, or friend, or relative whom you know is either a member of the LGBT community or you suspect is a member of the LGBT community. That's the first question. The second question to ask yourself is, do you think that these people deserve to be pursued, prosecuted, convicted, and then imprisoned? Just ask yourself at a personal level these questions, because then it ties back to the whole issue of public morality, moral policing, which another forum has alluded to, and also the role of the state intervention, and so on. So these are questions that I want you to think about, and then later in the next 2 rounds, I will share with you what goes on in other countries and how they deal with it, and also share with you how we have dealt with what is transgender or transsexual cases.
Thank you, sir. So basically, as of now, you are not making any proposition to say that it is a crime or a right, right?
Well, I think at its lowest denominator, no one, at its lowest denominator, as I'm repeating myself, people have a right not to be persecuted or prosecuted or humiliated at its lowest denominator. I'm not going to answer the question posed because I actually prefer that you walk away from this hall hearing from me certain things that you may not have heard or you may have heard differently, and then I want you to think about that question for yourselves.
Thank you. So each and every one of us tonight is a panelist, right? We have to think and discuss together with the panelists on the stage, right? During the Q&A session, of course. So we go back to the first panelist, Dr. Farouk. If I may quote your statement taken in your own website, IRF, 10 November 2011, you have been recorded to say that seseorang yang mengaku beragama Islam haruslah dihormati haknya sebagai seorang Islam. Sekiranya ia mempunyai keinginan yang bukan heteronormatif. Heteronormatif. Do I pronounce it rightly? Right. Yang demikian itu tidak memberikan kuasa kepada sesiapa pun untuk menghina dan menindas individu tersebut. Kata beliau dalam pandangannya mengenai isu kontroversi berkaitan dengan seksualiti merdeka. So you have been saying that we should discuss, right? At least we should debate and make an open discussion on this matter. And we have been made to understand that you are inclined to say that it is their right to practice anything that they are inclined towards to. So what is actually, how do you actually explain